Hey, what's happening, everybody? I'm at Pruitt. This is Everyday People doing everyday shit on whatever podcast app you enjoy, as well as streaming live on YouTube. Not streaming live on Twitch, not streaming live on any of those other platforms because I haven't set that up and don't really care to. There's that. Hope y'all are doing well. I'm just pushing along. Unbelievable as always. Not hanging out today with Queen Pruitt. Her camera and seat is empty. She's here, just not going to be on the show today because she ain't feeling it. Simple as that. She ain't feeling it. And if she ain't feeling it, no need to force her to be on the screen. And that's how it's always been. So I'm here. I'm freaking exhausted. Going to have some coffee because these last 72 hours have been, man, these last 72 hours have been busy. And it's that whole story of hurry up and wait, that's just the life right now. And my voice sounds a little weird, probably. At least it sounds weird in my head, but then also my ears are a little bit weird right now because of the travel and so forth. I didn't disclose what was going on as far as the shoot went because of NDA, but then also because of my own personal privacy and things like that. But I can share it now since I'm back in the house. But yeah, this week I ended up going down to LA for the shoot that I was hired for. And it was very, very, very cool to be down there. And as I told my family in the Slack channel that we have together as a group, is never in a million years would I assume that I would have been someone that's able to record commercials and read ads and stuff like that. Never in a million years did I even think about that, let alone never in a million years did I even consider myself someone that could record commercials in freaking Hollywood. And yeah, so I'm really grateful for that opportunity and looking forward to more opportunities to come with that. Now, the folks in Patreon know that, I do have an agent now, but that gig didn't come through the agency. That is a gig that I threw my name in a hat for some time back and had been in communication. And it's like, hey, let's give a brother a shot, and everything worked out, and I'm really, really looking forward to this thing dropping. This is going to be another one of those commercials that'll air nationwide and things like that. So hopefully to get more eyeballs and more name recognition for me and my family, so we can continue and try to just grow this thing, man, because I swear I see it and I believe it and just going to keep hitting it, So let me give you the rundown on this show. In particular, we like to just discuss, regular everyday shit because yes, I'm in the creative space and acting and modeling space and all of that, but we're still just regular people, still out here busting our butts and trying to scrape and scratch to pay the bills because it's hard, that's shit that everyday regular people have to deal with. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's the stuff that we talk about. And if that's the thing that you enjoy, please consider subscribing to the channel and subscribing to the podcast because you'll be a great part of the community and can join in on the conversations as well. So everybody popping in live on YouTube, thank you for being here. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons right now, please. Thank y'all very, very much. I see my man John Hill has popped up in there, and it looks like a super chat has just shown up too. Yeah, that is Ozone Nightmare with a $5 super chat donation. Thank you, my man, for that donation. And he says, Ant Goes Hollywood. Looking forward to the behind the music episode on this. Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Behind the music. Dude, you're so not right, man. But yeah, this, so let me tell y'all the whole story on this. And Queen Pruitt, she knows most of the details. I probably omitted a few things here and there just to keep it brief in the conversation. But so I got the call to go down for this shoot, and when they have these listings out there, you know, they always say something along the lines of, we're looking for local actors for this thing. I think they legally have to say that, but they don't necessarily have to hire local. They just have to hire people that's going to get the job done. And as you all know, I don't live in LA. We live here in good old Sonoma County, Santa Rosa. You know, Clarence Brown in the house. Hey, what's up, man? Good to see you. Thanks for being here. And so I put my name in the hat because, again, we got bills to pay. You know, and these jobs, they don't just pop up every day or anything like that. And it's not like I'm getting hired for anything else. I've been applying for other jobs and stuff like that and still getting turned down. Just recently got turned down for a photo retoucher role. So, you know, I'm trying to do what I can and do the best I can with it and drive the Lyft car. I don't do Uber. I just do Lyft, do that, whatever it takes. And so this particular gig that I applied for, they were looking for locals to LA. I threw my name in the hat anyway. And I was like, shit, I can drive to LA if I have to, because I considered that, number one, the amount of money that they were going to pay for it, does it balance out with the gas and stuff like that? And then number two, I was like, dude, I don't know how many times I've been to freaking Eugene, Oregon or Forest Grove, Oregon in the last 12 months. I have no idea. I lost count, but I know I've driven it a bunch of times, and I have driven it personally without an issue. It's just, okay, get in the car and go, you know, and my body just sort of got used to doing it. And it's literally about the same amount of distance, maybe a little bit shorter, but it's still about the same amount of distance to go to LA. So I was like, you know what, just if I get this shot, take it. So got the offer, and I hit the road. I didn't tell them where I was coming from. I just told them, hey, I'll be there. So let me tell you this. So what typically happens is you get the notification of, hey, welcome, congratulations, you've been casted. All right. We're going to have fitting on this day, and we're going to have the shoot on that day, you know, or sometimes they'll do the fitting and the shoot on the same day. Okay, so the fitting is talking about wardrobe, where you meet with the wardrobe pro. In this instance, the fitting was going to be the day before the shoot. But then in the email, they emailed me back and it's like, hey, would you be able to come down, come and do the fitting a little bit earlier than the day before the shoot, which ended up being, I think, like a Monday or Sunday. I think it was Monday that they wanted to do it. And in the back of my head, I'm like, shh, that sucks. I was hoping everything's going to be all on the same day. And I said, well, do you want to just do it over Zoom? And they said, yeah, that'd be great. And I was like, well, hell, let's just do it right now. So they hit me up. We did the Zoom. We didn't do it right now, but we did it like the following morning. And that saved me a lot of stress, a lot of headache, a lot of extra timing and stuff like that. And the fitting literally took 8 minutes. It wasn't even 10 minutes. It was so quick, because they wanted, again, because they all just want to get their eyes on you again in real time to make sure you're you and not some other person that's showing up on these profiles that they got out there. And of course, yeah, they want to talk about the particular wardrobe and so forth. So she calls in, and the wardrobe pro calls in, and it was less than 10 minutes. And the beauty is you get paid for that too. So knocked that out, got my call sheet, and I got a preliminary call sheet, and it says, okay, we're going to do the shoot on Wednesday, which was just 2 days ago. So in my head, I'm thinking, all right, family, I got this shoot in LA on Wednesday. I'm going to spend Tuesday driving down to LA so I can be there in plenty of time and just sort of take my time going down there. No stress, nothing like that. And, you know, when Wednesday morning rolls around, just hop on over there to set, just like I've been there all week kind of thing, you know. And so what I ended up doing was driving down Tuesday and found a safe place to park. And I just camped out in my car. And let me tell you something. Here in LA, I guess it's part of the homeless problem or something like that. But there ain't nowhere to pee in freaking LA. Nowhere. You go to the gas station or whatever just to take a leak. We don't have a bathroom. Even if you bought gas or bottle of water or whatever. No, we don't have a restroom. Go to the McDonald's to use the bathroom. They got to give you a freaking code. It's just, it was ridiculous. And so I'm driving around trying to find somewhere to camp out that night, trying to find somewhere to sleep or whatever. Because I get there in the evening like I planned. So it would be a little bit cooler and I wouldn't be sweating it out in the car or anything like that. And looking for a truck stop, couldn't find a truck stop anywhere. The closest truck stop in air quotes that I could find was up in San Fernando. And I didn't really want to backtrack up to San Fernando, even though it wasn't very far. I just didn't want to backtrack. So I'm sort of driving around LA on the outskirts there in Hollywood. And I found this gas station and that it was well lit, which is a good sign. Well lit, nice and roomy, plenty of parking spaces. And I said, oh, cool. I'll just go over here and I'll park. And I'll go use the bathroom, go get some water, and then just go over here and park and take a nap. Get up in the morning and drive on over to the set. Well, first thing is I go to try to use the bathroom. No, you can't. But I was able to buy a Gatorade or something like that. So I just go back to my car and I parked and went over into a little corner or whatever and just sat there, and eventually I dozed off. And then I woke up because I had to pee, and I just peed outside. I was like, screw it. I just walked around the other side of the car and I just peed outside. I said, if someone says something to me, I'm going to tell them, yeah, I don't say anything to the homeless people that's peeing all over the place and shitting all over the place in LA. So I'm just going to pee here. And that's what I did. And then I get back in the car and I go to sleep. And then at some point I hear, I'm like, oh boy. And I open my eyes and it was the lady that was running the gas station. And she says, you can't stay here. And I said, all right. So that was like at 3 a.m, something like that. So I got up and I just drove off and tried to find somewhere else to go. And I ended up at, I found a much smaller truck stop and just stayed there for the next 2 hours or so. Went in there and washed my face and washed up or whatever, and just took another little nap. And the people in there were cool. And now I see Super Chat has come in from John Helm with his $4.99 donation. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. He didn't say anything on there, but I appreciate that. Ozone Nightmare says, I keep an empty liter bottle in my car if I drive any distance, just in case. And I did think about that. I had a couple of bottles in my car, and I did think about that. And by the way, I totally forgot for our Super Chats. I got to give y'all the love. You know, I'm supposed to hit this button. Yeah, that one's for Ozone Nightmare Super Chat. And this one is for John's Super Chat. Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate that. But yeah, whoops, wrong button. I did end up having bottles in the car, but I just didn't use them. But that's because I've done that before too. I can remember my dad teaching me that years ago as a kid. I remember my first time peeing in a bottle. Could have been traumatic, but it wasn't. So yeah, there's that. And got up that morning and headed on over to set, just like any other local, you know. And it was great. It was a really, really nice setting there. I can't reveal the client yet. I showed a picture or two inside of Patreon, and I tried not to reveal too much, but the idea is the set was outside, and it was really well done and shot on Area Alexa large format camera. So it's going to be freaking beautiful, beautiful, beautiful images. Bunch of kids involved. This was my first time working with kids. Hold on, get some more coffee. This was my first time working with kids. And I gotta tell you, there are some kids out there, man. They're different. They're just different. It was a couple times on the set. These kids were just being kids and just all over the place kind of thing. And I'm looking at the parents, and the parents would rein them in and get them squared away. But then there was other instances where the siblings of the kids that weren't in this shoot, they were just off the hook, man. I have no idea. And the parents were struggling with them. And there was one time I was sitting at a table waiting, and this kid was just loud and just doing what kids do and wasn't paying attention to what mom was asking him to do. And I just looked at him, and then he shut up. He shut up. Didn't hear any more out of him. I didn't say anything to him. I just looked at him. Like, dude, you need to get your shit together. But anyway, I'm going to pause for one quick commercial break. This is Everyday People Doing Everyday Shit. I am Aunt Pruitt, hanging out on the mics. Thank y'all for being here, catching us late in the week because just couldn't do it any other time. Stay right there. We'll be right back after this for a quick commercial break. And we're back. Everyday People Doing Everyday Shit. Aunt Pruitt hanging out on the mics. Solo this week. Not going to hold your ears hostage for too long. Thank y'all for being here. Just sharing a brief experience with the shoot. And I don't know. Maybe I'll tell a little bit more about it at another time. But again, overall, it was just a lot of fun. Once it's aired, maybe that's what I do. Once it's aired, I'll get into more of the details about it. But yeah, that was my first time doing a shoot in freaking Hollywood, and pretty damn honored and grateful for that. Definitely grateful on it more than anything. And just looking forward to the next thing. Oh, there was one more thing. So the shoot finishes. Okay. The shoot wraps Wednesday, like 7:30 or whatever. Okay. So it's just a 1-day shoot. But when I got to set that morning, and when they didn't really need me just yet, but I just needed to be there. My call time wasn't very early. I think my call time was like at 9. And so I got there at about 8:45 because you should ideally be there about 15 minutes before your call time, just as a courtesy kind of thing. So I got there about 8:45 and grabbed some food from craft services. Great food as usual. And then I just pulled out my laptop because they didn't need me. So I'm on my laptop just going through email and looking through the boards and stuff like that, the gig boards and job boards. And I saw a gig for VO work that was posted that morning, like an hour prior to me, opening it up. And then it said they needed it for Friday. So it's literally 2 days away. They needed it for Friday, 2 days away. And it was a VO gig. And I'm thinking, yeah, I can throw my name in the hat. So put my name in the hat, sent my little profile or whatever, and off we go. Later on, I come back to the tent because, again, this set was nice. This set was nice. We do the shot, and immediately all right, we need you to go over here and get in the shade. They took care of you, bro. So I go over to chill out and wait on them to set up the next scene. And I'm looking through my phone, and I got a message from that listing, that VO listing. And they said, hey, can you audition and read these couple of lines and yada, yada, yada. And we need you to record it. Because if we take you, we want this recording to be done in LA on Friday, unless you have a a particular piece of software. I think they call it Source Connect. I've never seen it, never used it. I've heard of it. And I'm like, well, shit, I'm in LA. If I get this, I just come stay down here another day or two, you know? So as I mentioned in Patreon, I was telling y'all, hey, I'm not sure about the recording day on Friday because I'd rather not be recording on Friday because that meant I got this gig. So let me see if I can show it to y'all. Hold on. I might be able to show it to you without disclosing too much information. Can I? Actually, I can. Yeah. So let me see if I share the screen. Okay. All right. Hopefully you are seeing my screen. All right. And it says right here, okay, this is the rate. It's $1,000 rate for a day, and then plus $3,000 usage fee plus the agency fee. So it's going to be, you know, roughly, what's that, $3,600 altogether, which is not bad, you know, but they're looking for VO talent. Should be available in LA for a studio session on Friday, possibly Thursday. Well, it definitely wasn't Thursday because they posted another update right after that. And they had some references here. They had a reference of Tom Sachs and Ricky Jay. And there was another one for William Dafoe. And I believe I submitted for the one for, this one here. I submitted for the one for William Dafoe. And it's all about just, they wanted a particular sound and they didn't want something that's announcer driven or anything like that. And I figured I could connect with the William Dafoe because I thought about the Nike commercial that William Dafoe did years ago. Y'all remember that one? Where it's like, am I the villain or something like that? I thought about that. So when I was doing my audition, I sort of channeled that energy with it. But the problem was, you know, I didn't have this mic with me, but I did have those wireless lavalier mics that I've talked about in the past, and they sound good. They're just not going to sound as good as this. And so I warned them in my audition that, hey, I pretty much told them, look, I'm down here for a shoot right now. And if y'all want to hire me for this, I'll stick around for another day or two and we can knock it out. And I'll be in the LA booth right then and there. Just let me know I'm your man. So I did the recording, and instead of camping out that night, I just bought a cheap hotel room, and I looked out, found a cheap hotel room for like $100 and just stayed there for the night and spent yesterday, Thursday, at the time of this recording, just waiting around to see if I'll hear back from them on that. And in my experience, you don't hear back from these folks until later on in the evening. I don't know why that is. Probably because they're taking every consideration that comes to them. But I had just planned out, look, I'll just stick around in town. I'll ride around LA, find somewhere to camp out, sightsee, whatever, and just wait. And I waited it out. And around 6 p.m., I decided to just start slowly heading out of town back towards Santa Rosa. And I ended up camping out in, was I in San Fernando? Yeah, San Fernando, and just waited a little bit longer. And I gave it till 8 o'clock local time. And if I didn't hear anything, that meant I didn't get it. And then I can just hit the road and just continue north back up to the house. So that's what I did. Didn't hear from them, didn't get the job. That's why we're on the mics today. And, but I thought about it, and I'm grateful that I even had the something in my gut when I was packing to go down there. Something in my gut told me, grab these microphones, these little lavalier microphones, and take them with you. Don't know what it was, but I'm glad I did. Because it's not like I'm going down there vlogging or anything like that, because it would have been a pretty boring vlog. It's just me. Either I'm on the set or I'm in my car trying to take a nap. That's not very exciting, you know. So, but I'm glad I had that with me, and I had my laptop with me too to check mail and stuff like that. But it doesn't end there. I didn't get that gig, but it's okay because I had 2 other requests come in shortly after that, but they would be, at a later day and more so local up here to the Bay Area. Hopefully I hear from them today, because one of them, they had to make a decision today, is what they told me, on this particular day, the 13th. And they were wanting me to do a video audition. And again, I had to tell them, look, y'all, I'm on set, but I'm down to, do a quick Zoom call or something like that. And they didn't answer me back. But what I did is I have this intro video of myself, like nice to meet you video kind of thing, just to give a quick rundown of who I am, what I'm about, or whatever. So I sent that to them. And then this morning I got a message. They said, hey, we love this. Thank you. We're trying to find something for you to do. And so we'll see if I hear back from them later on this afternoon, because they got to make the cuts today. But I tell you folks, if you're going to be in this, make sure you have all of your resources. If you can put some different photos out there besides headshots, have them on your phone, have them somewhere on your phone, have them on the cloud where you can quickly send them out. If you have a quick little video like that intro video, have it ready to go. I have it on my YouTube channel as an unlisted video, so anybody can see it if you have the link. It's just not out there for the public to see. Just stay ready. That's all I can say. Just stay ready. So that was this week. Next week is going to be up in the air. I have no idea what it's going to bring, but I shall be ready for it as best I can. I know Queen Pruitt is getting into rehearsals and stuff right now, so she's running around trying to get that squared away, in addition to dealing with some other things. And so keep rooting for her and keep her in your thoughts, because she's got a lot to do and she can do this shit. You know what I mean? All right. Super chat just comes in. My man, Joe. Thank you so much, brother. Joe with the $10 super chat. And he says, glad to hear things are going well. Looking forward to the day where you've hit the level of success that means you'll have to deny ever knowing me. That guy? Nope. Nobody that weird I've ever met. Look here. I'm going to say this here. I've already said it in Patreon, and I'm going to say it again here on the air, but I'm meaning this more so towards my core community, my Patreon community. I've said this there, and I've told my family this. When I win, we all gonna win. And I have no reason not to believe a win is coming. It's gonna happen. I see it and I feel it and I believe it. We started this year, January 2025. We started this year out down in Pasadena, looking at the Rose Bowl, and had a great time. And just the content that we captured down there, and talking about it, and dealing with our son and his journey and challenges and so forth. And I was working background on a couple different things, and then I got a feature. And then there was a period in time where I was getting featured like the first 2 months or something like that. I got one feature each month instead of just all background or what have you. And I remember saying in the Patreon, hey, I want to try to double that. And let's just keep, because this is a numbers game. You got to keep putting your name in the hat. So let's double that. And I don't know if I doubled it, but I do feel like I've been featured here at least once a month since then. I just want to keep it going and keep it growing. And I know I have seen a difference in the pay. If I haven't doubled the appearances, I did see an increase in some of the pay scale on those. Was wanting an agent, freaking begging for an agent. Y'all know that. In Patreon, y'all know that. And finally got an agency. They've done a hell of a job getting me auditions. Because last week I was really busy with auditions. So it's bound to happen, y'all. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. For the people that have been here and believed and supported and showed love, when I win, y'all gonna win too. It's some kind of way y'all gonna win too. And I'm looking forward to being able to share it with my family, as well as share it with the extended family, the community here, Patreon. Now, have I mentioned Patreon? I don't know if I have or not. Join the Patreon community for free if you want to. Go to patreon.com/Aunt Pruitt. You can join for free, or you can join one of our paid tiers. We have 2 different paid tiers there. But that's where I spend most of my quote unquote social media time, is right there. Because this is the core group that I know not only get me, but they get Phoebe, they get Isaiah, they get Jake, they get everybody in there. We're all just eye to eye, and it's always great conversation. You know, I was even yesterday I posted in there talking about hot dogs. Okay, so because at the time y'all didn't know I was in LA, but I was in LA yesterday. So I wanted hot dogs, and sure enough, I remembered LA had that legendary hot dog spot, Pink's. So yeah, I posted a link and they're just talking about it. And boy, I got those hot dogs, and yeah, it lived up to the hype. So yeah, that's what Patreon is all about. It's our extended family. Again, you can hop on over there, go to patreon.com/Aunt Pruitt. Join for free if you want, but we'd really appreciate it if you join one of the paid tiers, be it the economically conscious tier, which is a little less expensive, and I'm putting expensive in air quotes, or the regular Explorer tier. And you get access to ad-free versions of the show, as well as just some other posts and content that other people don't get. Sometimes the paid people don't get. Sometimes the people in the paid tier get more things than the people in the free tier because they paid, you know. So thank y'all for that. I had one thing. Let me pull one more thing up here that I wanted to talk about, just as some feedbacks. But first, I'm going to pause for one more commercial break. This is Everyday People Doing Everyday Shit. I'm Aunt Pruitt. Y'all stay right there. We'll be right back after this. And we're back. Aunt Pruitt here on the mics. Everyday people doing everyday shit. Hope y'all are doing well. Unbelievable as always. Before I get off these mics this morning, I wanted to do one bit of feedback that came in from my man, my homie, Mr. Joe Esposito. Let me just play this one. And I have some of it that I was going to play for her, but I'll wait till she's back. So let me see if I can hit play now. I'll screen share it too. Do that.
And honestly, you're probably right to be wary of it, because there's a good chance that whoever built these systems, is deploying these systems, is overseeing these systems.
And what he's referencing there, if you remember back on episode 83, I talked about how Domino's and some other fast food chains or other restaurants are incorporating AI to capture phone orders. So when people call in, they listen to an AI talk about their orders and whatnot. But the rub was that AI was going to sound a little bit more humanized, however you want to put that. And even in some instances, if they're in, New York somewhere, they would speak with a New York accent. If they're in the South, they're going to speak with a Southern accent. But what got me is they said, even like if you're in Atlanta, it's going to have a black vernacular type of vibe on it. And I didn't care for that so much. But Joe, continue, sir.
I'm going to guess that, now maybe you did the research and you found otherwise, but my hunch would be that most of the people involved probably were not doing the proper amount of research to make sure that what they're defining as African American vernacular, in terms of locality, but also in the words themselves, Did they really bring in the right voices to make sure that that vernacular reflected something accurate? Or were they going off of TV shows or some kind of popular media that they thought fit the bill?
See, nailed it. So, yes, that's exactly part of my thought process, Joe. So let me put it this way. And I can speak for her on this too. Being two black people that host this show, we hear and experience a lot of different shit. Okay. One of the weird things that the both of us experience is there's this phrase that's said to us. You sound white. You know? So everybody in the audience, if you're black in the audience, and I know it's only like 2 or 3 of you, have you ever been told that? You sound white when you talk, when you speak? And that bugs the shit out of me. You know, so I've always wondered, all right, well, what the hell do you mean by that? How are you defining that? And so if you look at the inverse of that, what is you sound black? Okay. I can remember playing video games with some of my former coworkers, playing Team Fortress 2 on these public servers that these guys built. And we built this little community, had our own little TeamSpeak chat. And, oh, hold on. Joe T's in the house. I see Joe T's in the house in the chat. Joe T says, I enjoy it. Keep it going, Ant. Thank you. Oh, thanks. It's good to see you, Joe T. Ozone says, I'll commit to creating bizarre AI versions of Mr. Pruitt for every new sub. Okay, y'all, give him that challenge. And Clarence Brown says, yeah, I've heard it at least once. Okay. Yeah, see, Clarence, black dude. So, all right, again, the inverse of that is okay, you sound black. So I remember being on a game server playing Team Fortress 2. And these guys, we all enjoyed each other's company. But of course, some of the people that were running the server or whatever, they were not working with us on a day-to-day, but they were friends, extended friends that they introduced me to, you know, and it was fun. And we would play this game for hours, damn near every day, you know, each evening. And I can remember this was months later, maybe even a year later. We're having this random conversation and somebody popped in on the game, and inside of the chat on the game, they was blasting the N-word out there. And the server admin, he came to me. He said to me in the team speak or whatever, he's like, hey, you want me to ban this guy? Because he was using this N-word as part of it. Yeah, it was part of his gamer tag. Yeah, it was part of his gamer ID. And he's like, you want me to ban him? And I said, yeah, go ahead. Sure. Whatever. And everybody else in the room heard that conversation happening. And one guy in particular, he says, wait a minute. My game tag is Physique. He said, Physique's black? And I said, yeah. And the silence, he had no idea. He legit had no idea for as long as he and I had been playing, never seen me face to face. He'd only seen my little avatar because my avatar was never my real face. He'd only seen me playing in the game. Granted, in the video game, I was playing a black character in the video game. And he said, wait a minute, Physique's black? He said it just like that. And I'm like, yeah. And he just got so quiet. And he eventually was like, I did not know. He never said anything out of the way. He never said anything racist or anything like that. But it just shows that he had an assumption that my voice didn't sound like a, quote, black voice, you know? And So this whole situation with the AI thing, I thought about that in my scenarios that I've lived through, the stuff that she's lived through, and people constantly telling her she don't sound like a black woman. She sounds like a valley girl and all of that bullshit. And then there's people like, there's a comedian out there. His name is Gary Owens. And I've spoken about Gary Owens before on the show. He's a white comedian, and his upbringing is around a lot of black people. Okay. His family, he is very open about having a racist dad and stuff like that. But his upbringing is around a lot of black people. And when you listen to his stand up and listen to him talk, you can tell he's hung around some black folks because of some of the slang that he says. You know, I never hear white people say those slang terms. I only hear black people say those slang terms. So would the AI be okay by training off of Gary Owens' voice for this African-American vernacular, even though he's a white dude? Or should they bring in someone like, I don't know, Dr. Dre? Or should they bring in Idris Elba? How are they training this stuff? You know, and that was my concerns. AI is just scraping up as much data that it can, and that's fine. Everybody has the right to read, if you will, read content or whatever. But I don't want a computer telling me that the black experience is ABC when the computer never even been in the black experience for real, you know? So that was my take on it. Let's see here in the chat. We got some chatter here. Clarence was laughing. Ozone says, honestly, I listen for a region of the country over anything else. Everyone I hear filter as, quote, New Yorker or not New Yorker. Yeah, there's that too. And Clarence also says it's that Barack Obama is so articulate thing. Yeah, that's another quote. Yeah, you hear that shit? He speaks so well. I've heard that shit too. He speaks so well. Well, yeah, I speak well. Do you assume that I shouldn't speak well because of the color of my skin? You know, that's the kind of shit that I've dealt with in my life. You know, I don't deal with it often, but I have. And just dealing with it once is too much, you know. So that's all I'm saying, man. We have to be careful when it comes to this AI stuff, because the people that are feeding the machine, you know, they're not necessarily feeding it based on a broad spectrum. You know, they're just feeding it based off of the shit that they got access to, you know? So, and Ozone says, not sure anyone has ever said that about me. And he had more in his feedback, and I cut it off. But Ozone Nightmare, you mentioned in there that you have no issue when they have the quote unquote New York accent and New York portrayal, the Italian portrayal of people in film. You find it hilarious. And I thought about that because I swear it does seem like Italians have a very specific sound and look in Hollywood film or TV shows. I'm like, is that really how it is? Or is it some, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on that. And I was watching Mission Impossible recently. I think it was MI4 or MI5. I can't remember. It was one of those, but they were in Italy. And so they had to, you know, they had a car breakdown, a service car breakdown, and they get out of the car and they're speaking Italian to each other, yelling and fussing. And then all of the crowd behind them is like, what is going on? You're causing traffic, you know, in Italian. And I remember the guy getting out of his car yelling at them. That's an Italian actor or Italian guy. He's talking, and I was like, what's with the shoulders? Is that an Italian thing? Because I never see that with anybody else. But he's fussing and he's doing his shoulders up like this and the hands. And is that strictly an Italian thing, or is this just something that's been Hollywooded up? Feel free to let me know in the YouTube comments, folks. All right. I'm going to get out of here because I'm exhausted. I'm tired. And thanks to Ozone Nightmare and his show with Lando, I am going to rewatch The Batman because I watched it last year, a year before. Didn't really get much out of it, but listening to their analysis on their show, I'm going to watch it again and try to recharge because I'm freaking exhausted. I am. It was a great shoot in LA, but it was outside and it did get hot. And yeah, I'm feeling it today. So thank y'all for being here, hanging out with us each and every week. And again, if you ever have any comments and feedback and so forth, feel free to send it in via email to podcast@pruitt.com or just leave a comment here on YouTube. I don't always see the shit on social medias platforms, but I will see YouTube comments. So feel free to comment there on YouTube. Check us out each and every week, be it Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Check us out each and every week. The best way to catch us is to subscribe and you get notifications when the stuff goes live. Or if you're in Patreon, I always tell Patreon what's happening first. They always know when we're going to go live and when we're going to record and things like that. So go to patreon.com/Aunt Pruitt, join the extended family, and get all of the benefits of that. All right. So thank y'all again for so much love. And I look forward to keeping you all posted on everything else going on in this world of content creation, acting and modeling, because man, I'm telling you, this Pruitt family, we got some stuff here, man. We do. And my shit's coming and hers is definitely coming too, because she's got skills. All right, folks, y'all take it easy. Do something good for yourself and do something good for someone else. Know that it's okay to love you some you. We'll see you later.